So constraints, what are the constraints? We wanted to do a quick video to clarify how at Eleos we ensure that you're working at the right intensity for you, using the right weight, etc., doing the right movements in workouts and in strength sessions, etc. Constraints are, rather than dictating what weight you should be using, the constraints are kind of guidelines to bring you into the right, to get the stimulus right for the session. So generally speaking, if it's a weighted movement, we might say pick a weight that you can do 10 reps with unbroken, but you can't do more than 15. If you can do more than 15, it's too light. If you can't do 10, it's too heavy. And that way we ensure that everybody, if they're following those constraints, will end up getting the right stimulus out of the workout.
Yeah, I think it's important to stress that constraints are not there to hold you back, they're actually there to push you forward. So, it means that there isn't that top limit. So if we put prescripted weights out, there would be a top limit to what we'd be expecting, whereas with the constraint, there is no top limit, the sky's the limit, it depends on you and where your capacity's at. So actually, you should be able to go much further using a constraint approach versus a prescribed weight approach.
Yeah. Also, it ensures that you're getting the stimulus right. So when a workout's sort of put together, if it's, say, for example, 10 deadlifts and 10 burpees, 5 rounds, just as a simple example, if we don't give you any guidance as to what weight to use, or if we did put a weight on the board of this is what you should be using, that workout can be 2 completely different workouts. You could go really, really heavy and do 1 rep at a time, and it might take you 20 minutes, or you might go super light and it might take you 3 minutes. The stimulus from those 2 workouts, one is it's going to be very cardiovascular and going to be very high intensity. The heavier one is actually going to be more of a strength session, and you're not going to get any of the cardio response from it at all. So if with the guidance from us, a workout on the board could end up being 2 completely different things. The only thing that makes that workout done properly and how we envisage it being done are the constraints, because without those you could just freestyle and end up doing something completely different to what we're after.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously there's always a temptation to maybe go heavier on some of the movements, but it's important to understand that some of the time that's not what we're shooting for. So that, as that example I've just given, if we do go too heavy on certain movements, we're just not going to get the desired stimulus from the workout, because we just can't go fast enough to get the intensity that we're after. And equally, some people are sort of predisposed to erring on the side of too light, and again, we're not necessarily going to get the right stimulus from that. So it's really important that you just look at the constraints before you come in, or listen to the coaches going through the constraints with you, but also that 5 minutes you get before a workout or before a sort of element of a class to warm up, that's when you spend those 5 minutes honing in that weight to make sure that you've got it right for the workout based on what the constraints are, rather than just sort of thinking, I usually use this weight, that'll be fine, just putting it down and waiting for everyone.
It's not just getting your kit out in that 5 minutes, it's actually practicing the movement that we're about to do.
Yeah.
And honouring the fact that we're all very different. So, if you and me did the same workout, certain workouts I'd probably use the same weight as you, but other ones definitely wouldn't, and that's just where our strengths and weaknesses lie. And that's what constraints allows for you to do, for you to say, I'm great at this. On this one I might push the envelope, but this one I'm not so good.
Yeah, 100%.
I need to hold back there a little bit, or not hold back, but this is where I'm at here, and this is where I'm at here. Yeah.
So use your warm-up time. Use that time to do do a full set of 10 or whatever it is on the board. That's the only way you're going to find out if that weight's right for you or not. So if it says you should be able to do 10 unbroken, if you don't actually do 10 while you're warming up, then you've no idea whether you can or not. You might have a rough idea, but actually it might be a bit lighter than it should be. You might have under-egged it, or equally you might have got a bit carried away, and when it comes to starting the workout, suddenly your world falls apart and things start going wrong. So,
and the more you keep track of it as well, so the more you keep track of how you felt after a workout, makes it easier for you when you come in to kind of get that idea as well. That, you know, we have a certain idea of what you are good and are not good at, but the more you like take some ownership of that and maybe write down how you felt at the end of a workout, the weights you use, so that you can refer back to that, also really helps when you're using constraints.
Yeah, and on that one, on the most of the workouts on BoxMate, any of the sort of resilience and any of the strength sessions, it's set up for comments. So although you can't log your score, so to speak, you can go into the comments section and mark down what weight you used, how many reps you did, what gymnastic movement you did. So you can actually use BoxMate to keep track of everything. On the workouts themselves, again, if it's a for time workout or whatever, you can put your time in, but you can also, there's a notes section where you can jot down the weights you used and the movements you used, and that's obviously a good way of keeping track, not having to have training diaries and various other things to try and keep track of things. You can use BoxMate to do it.
Yep.
Failing that, notes on your phone is always a good one, because there are some stock movements that we do, deadlifts, squats, sandbag squats, etc., where you can just keep track of those sort of 10 or 15 things, and that'll stand you in pretty good stead for most of the workouts.
Yeah, if you put them on BoxMate, there's more chance we'll read it. And
give you a high five.
We've got some idea as well of where you're at.
Yeah.
We don't see you every session.
Yeah, totally. All right.
Yeah.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
Good. So that's constraints. That's why we use them, and that's how you should be using them. Use that 5 minutes before you work out, just to hone in and make sure you've got your movements and your weights right, and you'll get a lot more out of your workout, and you'll see better progress over time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Woo!